Oh, thank you. My students did it all themselves. Thank you.
Okay, welcome to our presentation. Thank you for taking ours. I hope it is a good discussion for everybody. So to kick off the meeting, we're going to talk just a little bit about ourselves. We are the Oak Forest High School Ecology Club, and I am the treasurer, Casey Knoll. This is our vice president, Emily Papias, and our president, John Rosales. So we're just going to start off by saying what really got us into this and why we stayed. So my whole story was that my sister was a part of it, and she'd come home all the time saying all this crazy stuff of what she did, who she met, and how fun it was. So I figured I might as well find out what this crazy chick is talking about and get it on it too. So I did, and I learned a lot of stuff, did a lot of fun activities, and I'm glad I stayed.
I kind of similarly joined it because of the same reasons Casey did. My sister was in it, and I thought, hey, I might as well just follow her footsteps, and it turned out being a really good choice to be in this.
I joined because, if I remember right, I had a friend who was all like, oh, hey, look, there's this ecology club thing. We both need service hours. Let's try it out, you know? Look at, and we both went. He ended up not liking it. Me, I'm like, you know what, this stuff, working hard, feeding fires, this buckthorn, it's kind of nice. And now, fourth year, I'm a senior, and I'm still here, so it's kind of nice. That's how I think it.
I'm not in high school. My name's Allison Paul. I work at the Field Museum where I coordinate our youth conservation action programs. I'm also the co-chair of the Chicago Wilderness Next Generation of Conservation Leaders group. You'll also see, I don't know if Daniel made it in here. He's on there too. But Alice Brandon is also part of our group, and there may be a few others of you out there. This is one of the beauties of Wild Things, which is you get to meet lots of people. We met this morning, and they got to combine our sessions, and so we have this great conversation for us today to talk about how do we support diverse next generation of conservation leaders. How can we make sure that people having experiences like fun ones in Ecology Club can transfer into all sorts of other avenues to pursue conservation as a lifestyle or as a vocation. And this is going to be a discussion, so we're not going to talk too much. But I wanted to give you guys just two images here to frame our talk. You may have heard of this idea of leaving a child inside. We need kids to get out there, connect with nature so we can learn how to take care of it. So we want them to not only love it, to take care of it, and then to think about, how do I become a conservation leader in whatever form that is. So all these things work together. There's lots of really good programs happening in the region that work on this. Our group, the Next Generation Conservation Leaders Working Group, has been trying to say, how do we help go from your fun event that you might have in 4th grade in a forest preserve to a conservation career or a very active conservation lifestyle. And the first thing we figured out was that people kept talking about this pipeline, like what's the pipeline to get you into a job, and we figured out that it's more of a web, and conservation functions like a web, and when you come into it, you can come in any way. You come in through Ecology Club, you can come in through the Scouts, you can come in many different ways. And as a region, we want to figure out how do we make this web of opportunities stronger, which means we need more points of really awesome things happening on there. And you'll see within there we've got universities, we've got employers, we've got programs. I'm going to have to put the Ecology Club on here now. Those types of things. And we also have to make the connections between all of those much bigger. So after your experience that you might have with the Student Conservation Association or Friends of the Forest Preserves, you then know, hey, these are the places where I can go for internships, for jobs, for academic career, or just I want to be a volunteer steward and this is how I can plug in. So we're really interested at figuring out how we can make those connections between the different players within the region, many of which are in the room today, and I think that's sort of how we'd like to have our conversation a little bit about how we can best support that next generation of conservation leaders. I know you guys have a few very specific questions that you had brought up for the group. Maybe we could kick it off with one that you guys had kind of wanted to put out, and then we'll take questions questions from the audience of things that, you know, burning questions that you would like collective thought on as well.
So I guess a starting question we should probably go with is for anybody that works with younger groups like high schoolers or even junior highs, I guess, is first of all, how do you get members, and then how do you keep them coming back, and then just stuff like that, incentive. Any ideas? If anybody has any?
My opinion on getting members is like just telling them that it's more than just a force reserve. It's a way to get away. Like my way to get out there was being outside the neighborhood, just being able to let loose and just rip and run through the forest reserve.
All right.
That's good.
I think a really good way to have them come back is to help them build their resume. Like a lot of kids in not even high school but elementary school, like some of them are beginning to think about this. And even if they're not thinking about this, like you can start implementing this in their brain, letting them know that this is an experience that you can also put in your resume. And even if they don't like that experience, I kind of saw that, but even if they don't like the experience of conservation, it'll unleash their minds to want to experience other things. But it'll also encourage them to let their friends know. So just make sure that you keep it as try to make it cool, if anything else. So
That's
like,
so
you can have,
critical.
like, in a year in event or something, like, you know, make sure, you know, it's fun for them. Make sure that maybe if you can, you know, you have like an inspirational figure coming, maybe a local music artist, or maybe the alderman, or maybe the mayor. Just somebody that you would think that would be cool to them because they're cool to you, you know? Like, just remember that we're still young, so try to keep that mind frame when you're thinking about that.
What I would say, well, first of all, I'm Sean Spikes, a friend of the Forest Preserves. What I would say is basically give them purpose. You know, obviously there's a purpose of, you know, conserving the environment and, you know, taking out invasive species and stuff, but you have to let them invest themselves into it. You know, bring in things that may not necessarily be of the environment, but make it a competition. You're cutting down buffalo. Let's see, put it into teams. Let's see who, you know, pulls out the most buckthorn. You know, make them invest themselves into it, bring emotions into it. And I mean, like he said before, I've been saying this all day, but bring emotions into it. Human beings are emotional people. So by the fact that just bringing in, it's much more than, oh, you're coming out to a forest reserve. You're actually coming out of the environment, like Devon was saying. You're actually seeing things that are more than the environment that you're in, but there's a way, way bigger world than what you may be just exposed to every day.
Yeah, and like me, I started with Person Faith, which is a program that deal with like youth at risk, but just inner city youth. And that's one way they took me out of my comfort zone and brought me to another one. And that's what got really caught my eye. And then when you're dealing with kids, it's like if you want to keep on bringing that young audience in, try to deal with programs that really work with kids, like Central States or NRI. That's a program that probably would really need this help. I brought like a couple friends of mine. I talked to them and told them about friends. Even though they couldn't do it, they applied for Green Corps and they actually got an interview coming up. And so, you know, it's just once you reach one, try to have that one youth that you reach, bring his friends in, you know? Just like me, like when I started off, I only worked with the bow saws and stuff. But then a steward at Testone brought me around like brush pile fires and stuff I couldn't do. They really caught my attention, you know? They really got me intrigued. So that's another thing.
So that example that you gave is exactly what we need to happen. I think that one thing that we found in our working group is we did a survey of youth and we're like, okay, we got you in, you did a program at the Peggy Nordebart Nature Museum. Why did you come? Like, what got you here? We're like, was it a website, like a really cool website? They were like, no, we don't look at that. They were like, somebody, an adult who was important to me, our friend, told me about it, and that's why I wanted to do it. So I think it's that personal connection and connecting people is super awesome and important. Thank you for mentioning it.
So when I was in high school, I actually went to Lamont, so of course we went. But I was in the environmental club here. And what really, well, I wasn't in environmental science, and so we did all sorts of stuff everywhere, but really what kept everyone interested was that we went to so many different locations and we met all of these people. And it was all of these interesting people in their careers on such multifaceted levels. You know, we met stewards, we met environmental educators, we met outreach coordinators, and all sorts of different people as a high schooler. And we were talking to adults, and it really put it into perspective, like, hey, this could be a career. And so I know several of us from my class ended up in the conservation career field because clubs like yours connected us to the adults. So, you know, keep them around would be really beneficial.
I'd like to add something to that conversation. Now, obviously I'm not a youth, but I have seen the experience that some of the young people have when we're taking them out on honors. I'm with the Chicago Audubon Region Volunteer Program. So we reach out to urban communities, inner city kids, both those with poverty stricken as well as those that may be a little bit more well off. But one of the keys that seemed to turn the tide was giving people an opportunity to gain a sense of pride, a sense of being welcome, appreciated. So the idea behind competitions but also helping people to realize that everybody's a winner in this environment. So nurturing a person's sense of self-worth and self-esteem and self-appreciation is a way, you know, and pride to make them come back. Because right now, a lot of the inner city kids are, you know, getting motivated or inspired to do bad, ugly things, you know, based on, you know, the gang affiliations and all that kind of stuff. So if we can shift that and help them to experience a sense of pride and well-being and belonging in an environment that is nurturing, along with some stewards and people like the people in this room, helping them understand the value of nature and how it relates to you as a human being, I think that would be a hit. It would be a solid connection.
Yeah, to add to that, I have various backgrounds in the Marine Corps, and I didn't personally work with youth, but a lot of my friends did. And a lot of programs I had seen didn't necessarily use power equipment, all team-related exercises, hand tools, hand-sized projects. So if you get your hands on that type of project work, I've seen it like, you know, large population when I was in the Corps, they were at-risk youth. Granted, they were like rural mountain kids, but like, you know, nonetheless, it's like, you know, you have an at-risk youth. They spent 3 months not seeing any of their, like, not seeing their parents, but working on these hands-on projects and just seeing the development from like day one. I'm like, oh, this kid's gonna be pumped. You know, like, at the end of time, you know, some didn't make it, a lot of them did though. Those ones that finished their program, just when you heard them speak about like, you know, their experience, they were just like, they had that sense of worth, they had that sense of accomplishment, they had everything they need. Like they were inspired to go do more, not necessarily, you know, it may not be restoration or ecology or anything like that, but it'd be more community related. And that's like a lot of common themes I've been hearing is, you know, keeping that community involved and sustained and, you know, inspired.
Yeah, well, I got involved in, I ran a program called Youth for Environmental Stewardship. It was called YES, and which was, it was exactly what you were saying. You want to have young people do hands-on. You want them to help understand the message, which is, you know, teaching the practical conservation work as well as the aspiring emotional affinities that you have with that land. I've kind of come around, I mean, all my life I've kind of come to the term and say your ultimate employer is the earth. You know, you work with the earth is your employer. Whether the earth is going to pay you back or not, you know what you're going to get back in return. And it's much more valuable than what society's telling you should not. So if you keep that kind of concept, that love and passion is going to grow. And that inner intrinsic value of what you have is going to be building up an incredible force of your life that's going to give back as well as you finding peace of mind through your life.
I think
But I actually read a research article on Children in Nature Network. They had an article about kids going on field trips, and they had two classes. One went on a virtual field trip, one on a real field trip. And they found that the kids who went on the virtual field trip, although more enticed and enjoyed it, often forgot what they learned, whereas those who actually went on a field trip and were talked to by a real person, were able to interact more, would remember more, and often decided they would go back. And so I feel like that's how it has to be for children. If you're aiming at the youth, you have to have them come up. You can't have them just read. You can't just talk to them about what they can do. You have to actually have them come up. Make it like a field trip. It's the work that they do that will not always compel them to come out, but it would help more than just kind of preaching to them and just telling them